Hello.
I'm Summer.
I'm Janice.
I'm Dee.
I'm Kevin.
And this is
Written
Written Together.
Together.
Every season, we work collaboratively to tell a different story.
Each episode of the season, one of us extends the story from where the last person left off.
The rest of us don't know what's in store, so it's an adventure for everyone.
The smell of high caloric possibilities
Yes.
might be my favorite sentence ever.
So join us for fun,
For mystery,
Creativity, but most of all,
to be delighted by stories
Written
written
together.
together.
Howdy'do Campers. Welcome to another episode of Written Together. Let's see, what do we have today? Gluttony, yeah? Dee is
Yep.
going to regale us with a beautiful story. See, I did the word. See that? I did the
Yes,
word.
regale us.
Thank you all for your silent thumbs up. I appreciate it.
We're all holding our breath like, will he or will he
Will
not
he?
say the proper word?
Is it going to happen? Is it going to happen?
Yes.
All right, so let's get a quick recap so we're all caught up and recap here. Story recap. What's happened so far?
Gluttony just can't get enough of whatever she's doing, and Pride can't get enough of herself.
She felt she controlled a good number of the ghostly roommates. Gluttony more so than Pride.
Between that angry, self-righteous egomaniac and that grotesque waste of space, Gluttony, Envy never had a chance to get anything she wanted.
Lust's ghostly roommates always derived their power from lust, like branches bearing fruits from lust's own tree. Lust for food, gluttony.
His mind too numb and fuzzy to be penetrated by gluttony. But pride? Come now.
Twinkle, twinkle.
You know,
I think we need to
like
keep that.
music,
Twinkle, 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 twinkle.
the cascade of my voice.
It's like Kronk when he's going through the streets.
My favorite. It is my favorite thing.
Too good.
All right. Well, now that we're all caught up, well, Dee, are you ready to just amaze and delight everyone with gluttony?
And delight everybody. I heard it.
I'm ready to do the thing.
Woo!
Yeah.
All right.
Make
Take it away,
happen.
Dee.
Well, untitled, because I don't know why I never titled it, but we could make it D is for diet.
Oh, that's
Like-
good. All right.
All right. Deep breath. Raoul had worked hard in the yard. He deserved a reward. He cracked open a beer from the fridge. It was cold enough to spit out a wave of water vapor out of the opening when it hit the warmer temperature of the house. It was refreshing, and he drank the whole bottle quickly. He mindlessly reached for another one. He was on autopilot, sinking into a flow state. The second one tasted even better than the first. It lit up a warmth in his body. He sat down at the table, prepared to keep the momentum going. He decided to start a list of home improvements. Put his life together. Develop a recipe for showing his ex what he was missing. Esteban would see that Raoul was hot cuisine, and that Armand and his half-baked greed was just burnt creme brulee.
I know that's right.
Raoul stood to get another beer. While I'm at it, I should make myself some food, he thought. He took a fresh swig, and the drink felt so good sliding down his throat. After fighting to make the yard look perfect, he deserved this reward. He opened the fridge to see what he could make himself. I really need to start treating myself better, he said out loud as he looked at the minimal options. Beer, mustard, wilted lettuce, and cocktail sauce.
Wait a minute. Is he straight?
Facts.
Sorry.
No rosé anywhere? What? God, just beer?
This is pathetic.
Facts.
He opened up his grocery delivery app on his phone, and he filled the cart diligently, carefully selecting everything he wanted, even the expensive gelato. He paid, selecting the rush option, He shouldn't have to wait long. In the meantime, he opened the freezer. Aha! He preheated the oven and took out the pizza rolls to keep the snarling wolf from his door. Thank goodness he had bought a case of beer the last time he went shopping. A dinner party. Maybe I should host a dinner party, he thought excitedly. Maybe a housewarming? Mix in friends that knew Esteban so they could stir the pot with some gossip?
Oh, he's definitely gay.
Definitely
You're
gay.
fine.
Esteban, hearing how well he was doing, would be the icing on the cake. Before the party, though, the whole house would need an overhaul. Starting with the low-hanging fruit, Raul wrote down professionals he would need to contact. Painters, house cleaners. He even had an old friend who was an interior decorator. They could swoop in and improve the entire palette. This was a lot of plates to spin after being stuck in this depression for so long, but damn it, no more sour grapes. With professional help, this would be a piece of cake. Raul was hungry. He happily opened another beer, put the pizza bites in, and pulled out some cereal to munch on while he waited. He watched the app with intense attention. Watching the list slowly be completed, he took a bite of a pizza roll straight from the oven. Even though it was lava, it tasted better than any other pizza roll he had had before. It was so cheesy, so delicious. He did not realize how hungry he was. The delivery could not get here soon enough. They were slower than molasses. He made his calls and lined up his appointments. His app alerted him of the arrival of the groceries. He rushed to grab them off the porch. As he unpacked the bags, he mindlessly munched on a fancy truffle chocolate that he couldn't resist purchasing. The entire party should be catered. He knew that one of his friends would have a decadent contact. Raul, new beer in hand, grabbed the bacon and threw it in a pan. There was something special about how much energy he realized he had and needed. He was craving carbonara, a meal that he had during a special anniversary with Esteban. He looked down at the pan with the expensive thick-cut bacon. Sinful, delicious. He chopped onions and garlic. The Parmesan is the gourmet blend with some pecorino mixed in. It made his mouth water just looking at it. He started the water for the pasta. He went with angel hair because he loved the way it blended and allowed for every inch to be coated in the rich sauce. He felt fancy during that night with Esteban, sharing the expensive Italian meal. He deserved to feel that way now, free of Esteban. He noticed the oven was still on, so he decided to take advantage of that and put fresh cheesy garlic bread in to bake. This was clearly meant to be. He daydreamed about the party, the vision of people mingling, indulging in the best he could provide. He knew it would drain his savings, but he didn't want them to think he was all sizzle and no steak. The guests would gush over how fabulous everything was, and the word would definitely get back to Esteban and Armand. He paused for a moment, wondering if this is maybe a bad idea. There was a lawsuit, after all. But that thought dripped silently out of his head as visions of Esteban's regret replaced his fears. Frustrating. Raul needed a distraction. He mixed the boiling hot pasta in with the bacon grease, beaten eggs, and cheeses, intensely watching the sauce emulsify. He grabbed the fresh garlic bread with a knife, grinding against the cutting board with each slice. He heaped the food on his plate. Another beer was opened, and he sat down. He ignored the ache from overeating. It's been a while since he allowed himself to enjoy all the best things in life. He needed it and deserved it. The food was never better. Each bite filled him with a renewed pleasure. He just wanted to keep this feeling going, the feeling of grace and fanciness that he could only get from himself, indulging for himself, no anniversary in sight. All that he had been through, the tastes and comfort of the rich food, took his mind far away from all of that. It was an instant and abundant happiness. The feeling was like a cozy hug from a lover. He didn't want the feeling to end. It's time for seconds, he thought. It's funny how the deepest desires for the richest delights in the world burn so silently that they're almost invisible. Gluttony loved it that way. There were those who screamed to be the center of attention and fought to be in control, loud, overstated, desperate. But that was just not appealing at all. There was a more effective, simmering, delightful way to fill one's time. A manner most often forgotten, ignored, and underestimated. Silently swimming in decadence, indulging the senses with more and more and more, sliding you ever further with gratifying indulgence, reward, and distraction. When they were noticed, it was assumed that they were unable to do anything with any sort of success. The pungent aroma of high caloric possibilities filled the room and glowed, but it did not burn. Gluttony avoided the spotlight. They knew they could not be too bright, afraid that if they were noticed, pride and envy would restrict their power, as usual. Those two only needed to bring attention to even the slightest indulgence with this resident, and Gluttony knew what would happen next. The human would feel shame, embarrassment, or frustration with their consumption, and Gluttony would suffer. It's better as a slow growth anyhow. Little steps, small urges. Gluttony did what Gluttony did best. They simply sat in the kitchen and stirred the pot.
Damn, that was
Very nice.
amazing.
Very
Yes,
nice.
ma'am.
I really loved how you used like all of your metaphors were food related throughout the whole thing. I thought that was great.
Yes.
That
I
was really good.
listed like 100 of them and then just kept trying to put them in places.
Yeah. Oh no, you did great.
And I just noticed here I used stirred the pot twice. I didn't realize it, but
Oh, I
No,
didn't
but that-
realize it either.
The thing is that it sounded like it was on purpose for you to reference from one thing
oh,
to the
it was on
next.
purpose. I did
Yes,
that.
of course.
I was connecting the two.
That's right. See?
Low as molasses.
I love it.
It was really good.
Oh man.
Really nice.
And I hate to
Mm.
say it, made me hungry.
No,
I was like, ooh, carbonara. What? Slapping the
It's
bacon
almost
on the
lunchtime, right?
sizzle? What?
The smell of high caloric possibilities might be my
Yes.
favorite sentence ever.
That, oh, such a great line.
Should get t-shirts made.
Yes.
I'm for that.
Oh my gosh. That was great.
I thought it was
What?
fun to just do mostly him rather than Gluttony. Like,
No, I think that's fantastic.
That kind of goes along with how you were portraying, like not wanting spotlight, making sure that everything was subtle enough to not then trigger the shame, and you don't do that by making it all about you. So that
Right.
it fit. It
Yeah.
fit.
And it's funny because food and gluttonous behavior is so subtle that we can feel the subtlety and then we realize, oh my gosh, like as he was going through, I was like, uh-oh, because you've been in this place before where you're
Mhm.
thinking about like all of these things and you don't even realize that you're in this state of hyperfixation on something because it really
Exactly.
is like you're eating yourself like so full, but at the same time, you're thinking of things that are making you feel empty. And
Mm.
so the food is a substitution to fill that need. And as he's thinking these things, he's filling himself up physically, but emotionally and mentally, he's feeling very depleted still, even though he's, trying to sound like he's doing better. So it's
Yeah.
incredible.
The other thing that I thought you captured really well, and I think it's probably something that all of us have been in before, is that feeling of you're feeling over full and you're uncomfortable. You don't hurt. You don't want to throw up. You just maybe bloated.
Yeah.
And so the first thing you do is you eat more because you're like, oh, maybe it'll just settle my stomach. Maybe I just need to eat this one last thing and I'll feel better.
Yeah.
And that is
That's the
something I
same
find
thing.
myself doing all the time.
It's wafer
Yeah.
thin.
And
Well,
just a
what else
wafer.
So, yeah, that is exactly. And when you said piece of cake, That's why I said, uh-oh, only because anytime anyone says something is going to be a piece of cake, something
It never
happens.
is.
Right.
And the fact that you used the food
Flatbreads.
metaphor to go along with that, it was just like, oh man, this is just going to be a slippery slope. Pizza rolls, beer and pizza rolls. For a second, I was confused. I was like, is he gay? What is
Hey,
happening?
we all have to have our vices, okay?
It's true.
Remember, I'm a lesbian, so pizza and rolls and beer is wonderful.
You're like, these are literally in my fridge and freezer right now.
Tostino's pizza rolls, you got it.
They are not sponsoring us, by the way. So we're just throwing that out there real quick. Although, if they are listening,
we are open to talking about it.
yes, we are open to pizza roll sponsorship.
Right. Like as Chichi Rodriguez said, ain't nobody so rich as to throw away a friend. Know what I'm saying?
All right. Oh, that was great.
You know,
A
Dee,
random-
that your story reminded me of a conversation we had a long time ago. So
Oh,
I hope you remember it too.
Was
and
I
can
drunk?
just- No,
I'm just
I don't
kidding.
think either one of us were drunk. I might have
Ah.
been dreaming though. This might not have actually ever happened. But if it did, let me know. We had a conversation about how one of our favorite scenes any book ever written was in the beginning of The Shining when he's talking about going into the walk-in freezer and the larder, and
Yes.
he's literally like naming all the foods that's there.
Yes.
And I was like, and we're like, I bet that appeals to us because we're women, and it's that gatherer instinct in us. We're like, we want to have everything fully stocked.
Yep.
Why we like
Mm.
Costco.
From top to
That's why
bottom.
women
Yes.
love Costco.
Oh my gosh, that is so true.
Yeah, I hate Costco.
Like,
I
Of
don't want
course
to
you
ever
do,
run
'cause
out.
you
I
wanna-
want to have everything.
you want to go and kill the boxes at Costco, Kevin. Whereas
Yes.
I want to hoard the boxes.
Yes, hoard the boxes.
Yes.
Exactly.
I was thinking of you last night, Dee, because we were watching Lego Masters, and we're his friend who's on it. They had to make Lego dogs, and he got a corgi.
Yay.
And he made the corgi's butt move like little
Yes.
animatronic.
Okay, I definitely need to watch that.
Yeah, I will be watching that. Cordy butt.
So let's.
We are at the
return-
part where we get to spin the wheel of randomness.
So
Well, I
what do we
think-
have left?
Well, I think that's it. I was about to say. I think that with Gluttony, that is everything.
That was all of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So we pretty much covered everything already now, right? All of the sins have had their chance in the spotlight, so to speak.
Yes. They look
Oh, I
like
hope-
boobs going opposite directions.
The little tassels that the
Clockwise.
strippers
Yes.
wear.
Counterclockwise.
Well, the little move that you're doing is perfect.
Or my favorite thing, like from Will and Grace, when Jack was doing his magician show, and Karen was his lovely assistant, and she was like, "Ta ta."
Ta-ta!
Oh my gosh, she was amazing. Such a wonderful character.
Like that line. Sorry I'm late, but I came as soon as I wanted to.
So all of the sins have had a story now. So they're all back up for grabs for a reprieve. Or I'm kind of hoping for a writer's choice. See what happens with that. But here we go. Wheels of randomness. Turn, turn, turn.
We
Tell us-
can't see. Hold on.
Oh,
Summer
I have
and Raoul.
Taste.
We haven't done Raoul yet.
We have not. We have a nice
Interesting.
Raoul-centered story.
And Raoul hasn't been done in a while. Hey.
Hey.
And what a great time for that to happen too, because
At
Dee pretty much set up like this whole, is he going to have a dinner party? Is he going to have a housewarming party? Is he going to contact his designer friends? So that's like, we have
I
a,
think he's going to have a little bit of a personality crisis with 7 different voices in his head all the time.
Oh my gosh. Oh, please oh my gosh. I'm excited about this one. That one's
Oh,
going to
that's
be
nice.
amazing.
well, looking forward to it, Summer.
Oh,
Right,
the
so,
places she can go.
Right?
Because the possibilities, man.
Yeah.
You set that up like a charm.
I'm just going to end the story. I hope you guys are cool with that. Everyone's dead.
Everyone dies. The house sucked into the ethereal realms.
That's it. That's it. There you
Keep
go,
calling
guys. Now,
Ghostbusters. End of story.
now you
There
know.
we go.
The end.
So do we have any housekeeping items to talk about?
Do you know that Dee's interviewing you?
What? No. What?
Yes.
Hashtag surprise.
So we have to set that up.
Okay. Cool. That's cool.
Finally, we have your writer's interview.
So, Kevin, just so you know, we started our own little channel without you. It's called TNA, by which I mean talented and attractive.
Hello.
Wow.
Appropriately named.
Wow. That's lovely.
Tense and anxious is really what it means.
Tense and anxious.
Really.
Just kidding.
That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. That sounds cool.
Yeah, so you and Dee are going to do your
great.
Q&A, and we hope with some questions, so we hope you like them.
Q&A with TNA.
Exactly.
Talented.
We seriously have to start videoing these. I
Right.
mean, it has to be a video podcast at this point. Oh, my goodness. They're
Seriously.
missing all the fun stuff.
All right. Well, in that case, if we don't have anything else, I guess match is extinguished. Thanks everybody for listening, and catch you next time. Bye.
Hi, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Background music and sound effects courtesy of Zapsplat. Check them out at zapsplat.com. If you'd like to know more about Written Together and the stories we've told, visit us at writtentogether.com.